When society collapses and there's no more water flowing, one of your first orders of business is being able to do your business. So this right here is a real simple solution to that. It's called a compost toilet. It's not to be confused with a composting toilet. In a composting toilet, the composting process actually begins in the toilet. So they'll usually have like a crank handle underneath that turns the materials, and they're very expensive. This is just compost, where you collect the materials and then you finish the compost at a later time. But it's cheap and simple and easy to build. So the design for this came entirely from a book called The Compost Toilet Handbook by Joseph Jenkins. I highly recommend this book. It talks all real deep in depth about the subject, who uses it in different places around the world, how to build one, how to finish the compost later on. So in it's got a section on actually building it, and it has the materials list, what size to cut all your boards to, everything, how to put it all together. So I highly recommend going with this book. So the idea is you build it around so it fits a 5-gallon bucket. So the bucket fits right inside of it. It goes in through the hole there. So when you're building it, you want to make sure that you're building it to the right height of the bucket, so the bucket is nice and tight up to the seat. You know, you don't want a gap there where stuff can splash out or whatever. No bueno. So one difficulty you're going to find when you buy a toilet seat at the store is these little feet that come on it. They're spaced to sit on a normal toilet bowl. So what you're going to have to do is pull them off and re-drill. You see there was original holes here. I just had to re-drill new holes so they fit and sat around the bucket. Other than that, it's really simple to build. If you have problems with it, you know, ask somebody to help you out. It's not that hard. Anybody that's worth their salt will give you a hand with this if you want to build something. And then you go and I put a stain over it. You know, you can paint it whatever color you want. And, you know, I have a lot of guys that came to me and said that they see the need to prepare and, you know, get ready for bad times potentially in the future. And they say, well, my wife's not on board with me. I'd suggest start with this. You know, your wife may not see your justification for why you need to buy a 7th AR-15. And she's right for not buying into your program, because you're proving to be a poor allocator of your family's finances. But women are very in touch with hygiene needs. So start with this. Tell her you're going to build one of these and you would like her input on the color scheme, on what color to paint it and whatever. She'll just trust me on this one. So how do you use a marvel of engineering like this? Well, this is pine bedding here that you can get at any farm feed store or whatever. I want to say the bag's under 10 bucks. And so you get a handful of that, line the bottom of the bucket so the bottom just has a layer on it, right? Drop a growler, wipe, throw the toilet paper in there, and then just cover it with a layer of the pine again. Just enough it doesn't have to be packed in there. You don't want to waste materials, just enough that it's covered in there. And then go and wash your hands by whatever means you have available to you. And it actually surprised me. It does not stink. I mean, sure, if you go and stick your nose in the poop bucket, you're going to get what you deserve. But just under normal usage and walking by it and whatever, it's really not that bad. So when you're done and you're filled up, you can just take the bucket with the materials with a lid on it, you know, seal it up, and now you got time before you get a chance. You can go and dispose of it or compost it. I intend to compost. I'm going to compost it separately from my main composting. I probably wouldn't put human manure on like my vegetables or whatever, but I think for fertilizing, you know, fruit and nut trees or whatever, that's perfectly fine. So, you know, I'll go into that at some other time when I get my composting rig set up. But this book goes into how to do all that. So again, recommend the book. You know, and if you're going camping with this, I would suggest getting a second tent, even just a little tent. That way it gives you a chance to keep all of this out of the rain. When you go, you're out of the rain, shielded, and it gives whoever's using it a little bit of privacy from the rest of their campmates. So even if you live in the suburbs, I'm sure you can find some space in your garage or in the basement to fit this toilet, you know, a couple bags of this bedding, the book for reference, a stack of 5-gallon buckets with lids, you probably even have that around, and a stockpile of some toilet paper. So that's probably what, I don't know, $100, something like that. I think that's money well spent. When disaster comes, you got a way to use a bathroom. It's always there. Even if you only have one bathroom at home, you decide to renovate it, you've got a way to use the bathroom while your bathroom is down. It's just a good thing to have for preparedness. You know, you need to be able to go when you got to go. So I know this is kind of a crappy subject, but it's something that everybody has to do. You know, people prepare for things that may or may not ever happen, but it's probably guaranteed in the next couple of days you're going to have to go to the bathroom. So don't be playing the fool. Build you one of these bad boys and have it set aside and ready to go in case you need it.